welcome to the weekly Scopes from the 25th to the 31st of August. Hi everybody and welcome to this week's weekly scopes. If you've heard this before you can skip, but this is just the intro on how I formulate these astrology weekly readings. I use astrology and my intuition to give you advice how you can practically use the knowledge of the stars and the planets and apply them to your life. So my weekly scopes are all based on GMT time and on Vedic Constellational Astrology. So now I'm just going to explain what Vedic Constellational Astrology is and how it differs from Western astrology. So the precession of the equinox is sort of like something that happens in astronomy and astrology, where the Earth's axis undergoes a slow circular motion over 26,000 years, and basically this means that this motion causes a shift in the position of the equinoxes, and also the calculation Vedic and Western astrologies use. So around 2,000 years ago, the tropical and sidereal Vedic astrology signs of astrology were aligned in the same position. So if the sun was in Scorpio in Vedic astrology, it was also in the constellation of Scorpio in Western astrology. But because of the precession of the equinoxes, this has caused a gradual westward sort of like drift of the tropical Western signs. So basically these signs and the Western signs shift 1 degree with every 72 years. So as a result of this ongoing shift, when Western astrology says the sun is in the constellation of Pisces, it's typically in the constellation of Aquarius. Still, this is because the degree, orb and the date for Western and Vedic astrology are 24 degrees, 24 days apart. So in Western astrology, the sun enters the constellation of Pisces around the 19th of February each year, but actually the sun doesn't arrive into the constellation of Pisces until the 13th to the 15th of March each year, and Vedic astrology takes this into account because it's based on the fixed star positions, and Vedic astrologers use sidereal calculations. So as a result, Vedic astrology takes into account the actual positions of the constellations in the sky at any given time, and also considers the precession of the equinox, adjusting for the shift in the position of the equinoxes over time. But in terms of Western astrology follows the tropical zodiac, which is based on the seasons rather than fixed star positions. Western astrologers also do not directly account for the precession of the equinox in their calculations as well, so this results in slightly different calculations and interpretations that are given whether we're using Western astrology or Vedic astrology. So yeah, as I said, Western astrology uses specific dates, so every year, regardless of where the sun actually is at the sky, the sun moves into Pisces around the 19th of February. So yeah, this discrepancy, this misalignment between the tropical zodiac and the actual positions of the constellations has led to a discrepancy between Vedic astrology and Western astrology. So I consider the actual where the sun and the moon are and where Mars and Venus are at any given time, and this is how I formulate these sort of like weekly scopes. So yeah, thanks for listening to this, and let's dive into this week's weekly scope. Okay, so now I'm just going to explain what parallels and contra-parallels are in astrology, because I use them in my chart interpretation. So declination in astrology is the measure of how far a celestial body is, such as the sun, whether it's either north or south of the celestial equator. And the celestial equator is an imaginary line in the sky above the Earth's equator, which us astrologers use in our interpretation. So parallels happen when two planets are on the same declination, either both planets are on the north side or either both planets are on the south side, and this alignment increases the influence of the involved planets planets. So it's similar to a conjunction aspect, as it amplifies their energy, making the effects of the planets more pronounced. Contra-parallels, on the other hand, happen when two planets are on the same declination, but one is in the north and one is in the south. So this alignment creates tension, which is similar to an opposition aspect, and it can lead to conflict, challenges and inner struggles between the energies of the planets involved. So contra-parallels highlight areas of friction or contrast in our lives, urging us to find balance between their opposing forces at play. When transiting parallels and contra-parallels happen, they can sort of like trigger significant events, shifting consciousness and periods of intense growth and transformation. So I look at these aspects closely during chart analysis to understand how planetary energies interact and influence each other during a specific time frame, to pinpoint key periods for personal development, relationship dynamics or career shifts and other shifts like karmic shifts and stuff like that. Because I just find using contra-parallels and parallels gives me more depth in interpretation, so I use them. So contra-parallels and parallels in astrology serve as markers for potential challenges or breakthroughs, guiding us towards more self-awareness, love, acceptance, understanding, forgiveness for ourselves and others, and shifts in consciousness and growth. So overall, just a shift in our mindset if we allow for it. So parallels and contra-parallels just kind of like provide valuable insights into the complexities and nuances of the astrological interactions between planetary movements. So yeah, that's the end of what contra-parallels and parallels are. Okay, so Mercury makes a sextile quadrant to the Moon's North Node, and Mercury's in Cancer, and the Moon's North Node's in Pisces, so nice cardinal and mutable water energy. So yeah, this entered on the 23rd of August, is exact on the 25th of August at 2:27 p.m. and it leaves us completely on the 2nd of September. Venus makes a parallel to the Moon's North Node on the 26th of August at 1:06 a.m. and leaves us on the 30th of August. The Sun makes a parallel to Chiron. This is exact on the 26th of August as well at 8:57 p.m. Leaves us on the 1st of September. Venus also makes a contra-parallel to Neptune, and this entered on the 24th of August, is exact at 1:03 p.m. and leaves us on the 1st of September, exact at 1:03 p.m. on the 28th of August. And this leaves us on the 1st of September. So when Mercury makes a sextile quadrant to the Moon's North Node, we can expect communication challenges that block our goals or fulfilling our life purpose or whatever it is we really want to do right now anyway. So yeah, we can misunderstand each other a whole bit more. So yeah, this can lead to misinterpretations in how you express your thoughts and ideas, and how people understand you and how you understand them, and this can cause arguments or just delays because of misinterpretation of what is meant by what is said. So some of you may find it difficult, for example, to effectively communicate your intentions at work, and this can lead to confusion with your boss or co-workers or clients. Positively, because it can push us out of our comfort zone, especially when it comes to our communication. It encourages us to speak up and stand up for ourselves, say the things we've been putting off, allowing ourselves to go there in our thoughts, the thoughts we normally lock ourselves away from. But we just have to be gentle with ourselves as we do that. And Venus's parallel to the moon's north node helps us do that. It helps us relax, helps us be open to new. And hey, yeah, by the way, I'm Amani, your karmic astrologer. Sorry, I forget to introduce myself sometimes. If you like my content, then please subscribe and share, and thanks for listening. So yeah, continuing. So some of you, because of Venus's parallel, and it's the same as the conjunction, it means Venus and the moon's north node are on the same side of the imaginary epileptic. But yeah, so it just brings harmony and love, or just a sense of peace, or just chilled outness, makes us a bit more relaxed, so we can just be more open to repairing conflicts and stuff. And some of you may meet someone who may become a supportive mentor in the future, who helps you with networking or helps you in some other way, or you may reach out to someone you already know for help, or someone may come to you for help. But negatively, because we can prioritize external validation over our inner voice, and so many of us do that, and it's easy to do that, we're programmed to do that, to live up to our parents' expectations, society's expectations. Some of us look out and we get totally free, parents that let us do what we want, but that comes with its own consequences sometimes. So yeah, basically, by the time we get into adulthood, we can struggle to really hear our inner voice. And it's not that we don't hear it, follow it as well, because it can be scary. It typically tells us to get outside of our comfort zone, whether that be our career, our relationships, and it can be hard to let go. That's why a lot of us choose to stay in our toxic situations, and then the toxicity continues in the world, and this is not blaming or anything. Then we wonder why, so we have to, my purpose of this podcast and all that I do is to show, people who are wanting to change, that we have more autonomy over our internal world. We cannot control the external world, but we can control our internal world. So this energy, Venus's parallel to the moon's north node, negatively can lead to dependency on others for validation or decision making. That was my, back in my avid people pleaser days, that was my thing. I always kind of went with what I was going to do, but for some reason I had to ask loads of people, and then it would get blurry, and then I'll go in different directions, then maybe go back to the original direction or prolong and miss the opportunity. So it's essential to strike a balance between seeking guidance from others, and these are even your inner spiritual guides or whatever, and learning to trust your higher instincts and the knowledge and intuitions that come from your higher power and your higher self. And this is how you can keep on continuing to grow. This week the sun makes a parallel to Chiron, so again this brings up insecurities and maybe wounds that we need to sort of bring to the surface, traumas, so that we can accept them and forgive. And it's hard, a lot of the time we find it hard to forgive the past, so this can just lead us repeating it and becoming resentful and bitter, and just missing out from the fullness of life. Yeah, you may not have friends, you may not have a lover, life could be a bit crap and work and boring, but you can make your life so much more rich and fuller if you learn to get to know all the different aspects of yourself. There's so much fun within you, and not in a the United States of Tara sort of way. It's a TV, so Google it and find out what I mean. But yeah, so we can find ourselves revisiting old emotional scars and facing situations that trigger feelings of inadequacy this week. But this energy, the sun's power to Chiron helps us to heal, supports us in our healing journey, especially anything that's holding you back from fully feeling totally imbalanced on the emotional, spiritual, psychological levels, just by addressing that lingering pain that's been unresolved for a while, digging deep down into yourself and working on forgiving yourself, forgiving others, giving yourself grace and nurturing, learning to love yourself as you work to continuously become better and better versions of yourself, because it's a journey, it's not a destination. And because so much we're always rushing, trying to reach one achievement and one other, we can sometimes see personal development as a checklist, check, but no, it's definitely not. Even if you learn something, you master something on one level, like you may master self-awareness on one level of existence, but then that opens you up to a new world. So then that new world, that new perception, it allows you to see you have to master your self-awareness on that level again. And yes, you guess it, once you reach that level, you have to master. So there's always something to learn. You're always continuously growing. So it's always a journey, not a destination. So this energy, the sun's power out to Chiron, allows us and reminds us to, be gentle with ourselves, practice self-care, understanding and forgiveness and respect and love and healing, and learning to manage yourself by coming to know all the different aspects of yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, and learning to love them all equally, especially your shadow, because the shadow can be so scary when you first see it, and then when you see it in its all its depths and glories and stuff, and then maybe as your perceptions change, you start seeing that maybe you were to blame. You may have 100% blamed someone in a certain scenario all your life, 10, 20 years, then you may suddenly get to a different version of perception, and this can be scary, and then you recognise that shadow and you're like, oh my gosh, I've wasted so many years and so much energy. So yeah, it's essential to take care of yourself and take the necessary daily steps to heal at your own pace. You never be in what's that word I'm searching for, a competition with anyone else, and Venus's contra-parallel to Neptune inspires us with creativity, intuition, and it's being open to the support of those who uplift and understand us in healthy ways. But negatively, it can make us idealise relationships and situations, and this can lead to disillusionment, regret, bitterness if the people or situation don't meet our expectations. But positively, it helps us deepen our connections with others and makes us more creative and more open to using creativity, journaling and using different colour pens and mind mapping, and just finding a way to make even the most boringest things, like working through your emotions, especially if you don't even want to do it, make it fun. This is fun for you, this is how you can stick to it and start and continue it over time. Mercury sextile quadrant to the moon's north node adds to our communication challenges this week and us understanding our own thoughts and ideas, but although it brings up eternal conflicts between our logic and emotions, it is pushing us and supporting us to find a balance between the two. A lot of the time we see emotions as weaknesses, but they really are not. They're letting us know that something's not right. So to make the most of all of these transits this week, it's best for you to stay grounded and mindful of your emotions and perceptions. Use this time to express yourselves creatively and nurture genuine connections. Look after yourself, but be cautious of being idealistic, and focus on integrating logical thinking with your intuitive insights and thoughts, learning to trust and work through your fears that block you, trusting your intuition, and use any internal conflicts that come up as opportunities for growth rather than opportunities for self-destruction, for allowing them to make you run into numbing yourself with drugs or alcohol or intoxicating relationships or anything self-destructive to you in the long run. So on the karmic and esoteric level, Mercury sextile quadrant to the moon's north node pushes you to focus on increasing your intuition and nurturing meaningful connections with others. Venus's parallel to the moon's north node encourages us to use love and harmony in all aspects of our life, particularly in matters related to your own, destiny, responsibilities over the next week, and your personal happiness and well-being. The sun's parallel to Chiron empowers us to confront our vulnerabilities with courage and compassion. If we do so, it can lead to profound inner healing and self-discovery. Venus's contra-parallel to Neptune invites us to explore the depths of our subconscious mind and trust in the power of universal love and connection. Mercury's sister quadrant to the Moon's North Node reinforces the importance of clear communication and intuitive understanding in navigating our lives. And it encourages us to listen to our inner voice this week and pay attention to subtle messages from the higher power, the universe, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, friends, family, TV shows, podcasts, just be open to subtleties this week. And by integrating and being open to using emotional intelligence and awareness with logical thinking, you can create a harmonious balance that aligns with what your higher consciousness, definitely what we need as a collective, us aligning with our right and left side of the brains, our logical and intuitive sides and stuff like that. On the 25th of August, the moon void of course starts at 2:25 p.m. Mercury makes its exact sesquiquadrant to the Moon's North Node at 2:27 p.m. The Moon enters Taurus, so I've already talked about Mercury's sesquiquadrant to the Moon's North Node and how it affects this week. So the Moon in Taurus over the next 3 days allows us to be more stable, and we need it to be more practical, focus on doing the things that bring us comfort while not necessarily just being stuck in our comfort zones. It allows us to be grounded, to have a stronger sense of will, but we just have to watch out for being overly stubborn. We can just find more pleasure in cooking, spending time with other people, and just being open to newness. In terms of what sort of past life or other memories, what we may find ourselves thinking about during the moon in Taurus, we may just think more about our connection to nature, beauty, and material comfort, our comfort zones, what kind of shows we like, podcasts, gaming, whatever books we like to read, podcasts we like to listen to, things we like to geek out on, just feel more connected, maybe recalling past lives where you had a deep connection to animals, the earth, the plants, also if you don't feel like this, taking time out, spend in nature, listen to nature if you don't like going outdoors, chilling out, doing the things that make you feel relaxed and grounded is the most important thing with this energy. So on the 26th of August, Venus makes its exact parallel to the Moon's North Node at 1:06 a.m. The last quarter moon phase begins at 10:26 a.m. The Moon's North Node goes retrograde at 10:36 a.m. Mars enters Gemini at 10:55 a.m. and the Sun makes its exact parallel to Chiron at 8:58, and I talked about Venus parallel and the Sun's parallel to Chiron earlier on. So the last quarter moon allows us to reflect and reassess things. It encourages us to just look at our goals, our day-to-day habits. Are we getting enough exercise? Are we getting enough sleep? And making the necessary changes so that we can align with our true path or our true goals, the things we really want to do in life. And also looking at your thought patterns as well, just reflecting on how you can sort of take care of yourself, especially on the spiritual, psychological and emotional level, and physical level, financial level, so you can live a more balanced life. The Moon's North Node going retrograde, reminds us of our spiritual and karmic growth, may bring karmic lessons around a need for self-reflection and inner development. If you have, for example, been neglecting your own emotional well-being or overlooking significant life lessons, and a lot of the time it's the themes that keep repeating in our life. If you keep saying, oh, people always do this, or I always do that, or I always attract this type of lover, and these are maybe the life lessons that you keep on overlooking. What can you learn from these? A lot of the time, especially, I can talk to people who maybe used to try and please others and meet their needs, or still do that. The reason why you do that is a lot of the time you can know what it's like to feel in pain sometimes. It's not always about trying to manipulate people or anything like that, but ultimately you a lot of the time it's about looking after others' pain and not ignoring yours. You may be so out of touch as I was as how much pain you really are in within, so you may not even think you're in pain, and this is why you're taking care, keeping yourself busy on all levels, because a lot of the time it comes down to procrastination and busyness. If you sort of like spending all your time looking after other people and meeting all your other commitments, going to work, paying your bills and all of that, then you don't have enough time for you. So the moon's north node going retrograde wants us to reflect more inward in where we are, running away from ourselves and thinking about the steps we can take to readdress that in healthy ways and bring healthier habits into our life that allows us to be open to exploring our emotions and healing our psychological and spiritual traumas. Mars in Gemini gives us that motivation, mutability to do what the moon's north node calls for us to do, but also brings us a lot of mental energy and can help with our communication skills and us understanding our own thoughts. And it just allows us, once again, this week we've got quite a few energy supporting us in expressing ourselves clearly and assertively, counteracting I think it was Mercury sextile quadrant to the moon's north node, which is bringing a lot of contention negatively this week as well. So this energy just allows us to sort of like be more clear, to understand ourselves, to be open to change, to be open sort of like to newness and understanding other people as well as ourselves. And also, if we have been holding back and expressing our ideas or having critical conversations, as I said, this energy again is pushing us. Mars is in Gemini for the next 6 months. I've done a whole separate audio on it in depth if you want to check it out, be in the playlist. But yeah, this pushes us to step out of our comfort zones with confidence, especially in the realms of our communication. And it also, if you got communication projects, so you've got essays you may have wanted to write, or a book or anything like that, this energy allows you to work towards projects to do with communication or speaking your truth or having those difficult conversations, as I said. But just watch out for being impulsive, aggressive and engaging in conflicts, because you've got a lot of mental energy. It gives us a lot of the energy, but what we shouldn't be doing is using it to waste or get ourselves in arguments and overstep other people's boundaries and criticise others or criticise ourselves. This energy is best used to really thinking about the ways we can communicate more confidently and be respectful of others, but also dig into our sort of spiritual growth and personal development and growth as well. So on the 27th of August, Venus makes a trine to Uranus at 8:24 a.m. The moon void of course starts at 6:18 p.m. and the moon enters Gemini at 11:12 p.m. So yeah, the moon in Gemini can heighten our intuition, and we can just be more sensitive with our communication and be more intellectually curious. And Mars is in Gemini as well, so these energies are going to work really nice together over the next couple of days. So it just helps us with socialising, networking, learning new things. For example, some of you may find yourself more chatty and interested in socialising with others and meeting new people, especially those who stimulate you on the intellectual sort of deeper levels or scientific kind of levels, and negatively it can just make us more gossipy, scattered in our energy, inconsistent, superficial and restless, because we can be emotionally detached. So people can declare love and mean at best maybe so just watch out. People can use words to not so much manipulate, they couldn't think that they mean it, because it can bring it's a moon in Gemini, a bit of a flirty moon, bit of a social moon, can mean one thing one minute, can mean something else the next, so just be cautious. This doesn't mean be totally skeptical, just watching out for red flags, but it just means don't ignore them as well. So Venus's trine to Uranus adds to the excitement and spontaneous energy of this week, and it can bring like a desire for change in our relationships and our creative tasks and activities and our work. So we just may want more excitement, and what I was saying earlier about bringing more spice into your routine, and it encourages us to break free from our comfort zone experience new things, especially when it comes to love and art. So you can try out new date night techniques, new love making techniques, new self-love making techniques. We can feel ourselves more unconventional when it comes to giving, receiving love and affection and dating right now, and experimenting with different creative techniques and stuff like that as well. It can also just sort of like make us sort of like more add to the impulsiveness and unpredictability of the week, especially when it comes to our relationship and financial decisions. So it's crucial to balance excitement with stability to avoid making hasty choices that can lead you to regret later. The ones like, oh, let's spend all my money now in one day when I actually need this money to last me for the next 29 days, that sort of thing. So because Venus is in Virgo and Uranus is in Taurus, so nice earth energy fits mutable earth energy with Virgo. So Virgo brings practicality, allowing us to analyze and think. Taurus brings us that stability and material comfort, allowing us to be kind of like stubborn, or also go into our inner values as well. But on negative, as I said, it can make us overly willful, especially in self-destructive things. So the best use of, because Venus is in Virgo, Virgo is day-to-day routine, so it's a good energy to use to improve your daily routine, especially your self-care and hygiene ones, and increase anything that can help you increase your productivity. And you can also find innovative solutions that sort of like blend being efficient with being creative, especially, as I said, in the areas related to your health and beauty in general, and anything to do with being of service to others as well. But watch out for potential clashes between the need for change and the need for stability. As I said, Taurus can be like, no, I want to stay, that energy is making stay fixed in my zone, and the mutable energy, thinking energy of Virgo is wanting us to change and to make some changes to our daily routine, and is supporting us as well. And we just have to remember that while unpredictability and impulsiveness can bring excitement, a balance with stability and thinking before we react and do things is key to ensure long-term success and happiness. And it just reminds us to stay open to new ideas, new ways of approaching tasks, even the tasks, the activities, the routines we've been doing for years. If they're really good and productive and you're in balance in every area of your life, great, stick to it. But if your routine's making you out of balance in any one area, maybe you need to look at all the different areas and make changes, and by embracing the duality of the energy represented by Venus in Virgo and Uranus in Taurus, we can find harmony between change and stability, and this can lead to just more meaningful a more meaningful life, and more personal satisfaction. So on the 28th of August, Venus makes a contra-parallel to Neptune at 1:04 p.m. Venus also makes an opposition to Neptune at 9:25 p.m. and Mercury also goes stationary direct. So I've already talked about Venus's contra-parallel to Neptune, and the opposition is the same as the contra-parallel, although the opposition leaves us on the 29th of August, but the contra-parallel stays until the 1st of September. So when Mercury goes direct, I've done a whole separate audio about this. So when Mercury is direct on the 28th of August, on the positive side, communication can become more clear and direct. We can express ourselves with more confidence and clarity. It's a great energy that allows us to express ourselves with more confidence and clarity. But negatively, it can add to arguments and the sensitivity in communication. So it's important to still be mindful of your words, because Mercury's still in its post shadow stage for the next couple of weeks as well. The best way to use this energy is to focus on clear and concise communication. It's also good now to make decisions, sign contracts and all the other things that may have not being so smooth when Mercury was retrograde, and just making sure that you speak clearly and directly, and if you don't understand others, ask them to repeat and clarify, ask questions, don't assume, and by doing this can lead to successful outcomes in your relationships and plans. So yeah, on the 29th of August, Venus makes a trine to Pluto at 3:32 p.m. The moon enters void of course at 4:58 p.m. And so when Venus and Pluto make a trine, Venus is in Virgo, Pluto's in Capricorn, so it's a good sort of like aspect between the planet of love and beauty, Venus, and the planet of transformation and regeneration, and just kind of like sadder aspects of ourselves and lives. So positively, it can intensify our emotions and our relationships, and just make us feel more passionate and connected, so good for date nights and stuff like that. Also allows us to let go of old patterns and thoughts and relationships and things that no longer serve us, and so it's adding to the transformation energy of the week that's wanting us to sort of like look at our daily routines and change them. But negatively, it can add to the power struggles that happens, and it can bring up insecurities that need to be sort of like challenged. So the best use of this energy is to use it as an opportunity for self-discovery and growth. Reflect on your relationships and emotional patterns, allowing yourself to release what no longer serves you, while also nurturing yourself, your relationships, and doing the things that uplift and empower you, and spending your time with people that also do the same. So ultimately, it encourages us to explore the depths of our psyche, our soul, our higher consciousness, whatever you want to say, and confront our hidden desires and fears, and dig deep into your subconscious mind and confront unresolved sort of like things that are there, and sort of like be prepared to experience an increased sense of intuition or inner knowing, or just the vibe, and open to the emotional depth that this transit can bring. And use this energy as an opportunity to explore the mysteries of love and passion on a profound, deeper level, and just allowing yourself to be guided towards greater understanding and healing. So on the 30th of August, the moon enters its balsamic moon phase, the moon also enters Cancer, and the sun also makes a sextile quadrant to Chiron. So yeah, if you want to know more about the balsamic moon phase and the moon in Cancer, check out the separate playlist. Some of you, wherever you're listening, may have to click a link in the description to go to my other place where I have all these transits, but they are there, I can assure you. So yeah, so the sun's sextile quadrant to Chiron, the sun's in Leo, Chiron's in Pisces, and it can just provide us with the courage and motivation to confront our past and to face our vulnerabilities and to let go of the things that have been holding us back. And it just gives us the opportunity to shine a light on our vulnerabilities, and just especially when it comes to self-doubt, self-esteem issues, and it gives us the chance to build more self-awareness and resilience. But negatively, it can make us feel inadequate, as it brings up intense emotions, and it can be overwhelming, and it can just be painful to revisit memories and face difficult truths right now. So it's very important, as I keep on saying, to be gentle, seek out the tools and help if need be. The best way to navigate this energy in this week is to be open, have compassion for yourself and others as well. Allow yourself to feel whatever emotions come up without judgment, and be willing to explore and accept and manage and forgive the deeper layers of yourself, and be more curious about whatever comes up, and maybe using journaling, meditation or therapy or creative expression, and just seeking out the tools, because as I said, there's so many tools out there, and even if I use a tool and someone else does, the way that we use it may be different. So it's all about tweaking it to you, and not thinking you have to follow one strict rule, and that can be really hard. Like, I found it really hard on most of my spiritual journey until recently, because it can be really hard to just think this is my path, and really living in it, knowing it, and living it is different, but really living in it, because you're like, who am I? I must have some sort of guru or something, but no, the inner guru is within you, because each of us are the only ones with us 24/7. So you're the only person who can get to know you inside out, and that's the only thing you need to do, is sort of like try and master yourself first before you try and master anything and anyone. Well, you should never try and master anyone else, but before you try and master life or anything like that, master yourself sort of like first, and trust in your ability to navigate the challenging moments that come up this week and that will come up in your life, and just recognize that every moment of vulnerability, getting it wrong and failure, is an opportunity for strength and healing. So on the 31st of August, the moon's north node makes its exact sesquiquadra at 12 p.m, and I talked about this at the beginning of the week. So yeah, that's it for this week. Thanks for listening, guys, and take care, and I'll see you next time. So yeah, that's the end of the weekly scopes from the 25th to the 31st of August.